and welcome into my sports talk show. I'm your host, Carlation Jr., joined by a special guest today on my sports talk show on this Monday afternoon. Former MLB pitcher, played 2 years with the Minnesota Twins, and also is a Northern California area scout for my New York Yankees, Tyler Robertson. How you doing today, Tyler?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. What do you got going on today? Big playoff game tonight.
Yep, big playoff game. Now let's talk about your career. How did you? Uh, what you played for Ron Gardenhire 2 years?
I did. I did.
How
Yeah,
how
I
did?
played. I was signed by the Twins in 2006. I signed out of high school and played in their organization. Like I said, 7.5, 8.5 seasons. And then I was DFA by them after pitching in the big leagues for parts of 2012 and 2013. And then I kicked around with a couple other minor league teams. I got claimed by the Nationals. I was in AAA with them, and then I had Tommy John surgery. And when I was coming back from that, I had another injury in 2015, and that was my last year playing. And took most of 2016 off. In my first year not playing in 10 years, and then I got into scouting with your Yankees. In November of 2016, and I've been scouting in Northern California ever since then.
How's the weather out there?
It's really nice right now. It's really nice. I'm actually at my gym right now outside by the pool. Finally starting to cool off a little bit, so it's a good time of year here. So
What town? What town do you live in?
I'm in Rockland, California. It's the closest big city, Sacramento.
Sacramento. So you're
Yeah.
you're, you're far away from Dodger Stadium and the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, the Padres about an 8-hour drive. San Diego's about, or I'm sorry, San Diego's about an 8-hour drive. LA's about a 6-hour drive. But I got Oakland and San Francisco right here. That's about an hour and a half from me. So those are the two big league clubs, and then the Sacramento has a AAA team. So
Now, Tyler, getting back to who were your favorite teammates in the minor leagues, and also when you got up to the Twins. I know one of the guys you liked. I'm a good friend of his father, Chris Colabello, Lou Colabello's son.
oh yeah, I played with Chris. I had a lot of good teammates over the years. I was with the organization for a long time, so I got to know a lot of people with the Twins. And I came up with a draft class that had some high schoolers: Chris Parmalee, Joe Benson. Were two guys I kind of came up with. Ben Revere was drafted a few years later, but he caught up to us pretty quick. Um, I played with Hicks. Hicks was there in 2012 and 13, I think. And he's playing tonight. So it's been fun watching him kind of, transform his career. I know he's struggling a little bit this year, but hey, just a big hit away, from getting rolling in the playoffs. So, yeah, a lot of good teammates, a lot of good time playing. And later in my career, when I went on, kicked around AAA for a while, once you're up at that level, you play with guys that have played for a long time. So, yeah, some good relationships. And, some of them I've carried over into scouting and run into guys that you played with against, all that stuff. So,
Now, when you scout, do you go to like high school or college, or do you go to the MLB too?
yeah, I'm on the amateur side. So, like I was telling you when we were kind of got into contact, I obviously follow the Yankees, and I'll definitely be watching the game tonight, rooting for them. But on the amateur side, we're strictly, for the draft. So high school, junior college, colleges, even some free agents and stuff. Anybody that's draft eligible. We just had the draft in July this year, and we're already like halfway done with our fall pretty much for like a lot of the high schools now have fall programs, but the Division I teams are, they're going to be wrapping up their fall here in a couple weeks. So, we're already getting ready for our eyes on the 2023s for, next year's draft. So yeah, high school, college, all that stuff. some teams have their amateur scouts do some pro stuff. I have in the past. We haven't really done that as much since COVID. So, but yeah, strictly, we basically stay on, on the amateur side and just follow and root on our guys that we get in the draft and hope they could help the Yankees out one day.
And we met around COVID through our buddy Adam First.
Yes, we did. Yeah, I owe Adam a phone call. I think he called me last weekend or something, but I've been busy. But I'll get back to him today. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Now, who did you play with Joe Mauer or any of those guys?
I did. Mauer caught me in my debut. I played with Mauer, Morneau, Josh Willingham was on that club. Yeah, I played with all those guys. That was fun playing with those, former MVPs and watching them, go about their work every day.
What's too bad for those guys is they never got a World Series ring because they either got they made the playoffs and they either lost to Houston during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they lose to the Yankees.
No doubt. Yeah, Yankees. Yeah, tough team to get by. Those years. I played against the Yankees in 2012. I did not play Yankee Stadium. They played at Target Field, but even I'd already been up in 2012 before we played them for maybe 2 months, 6 weeks, or something like that. So I was getting my feet, pretty comfortable in the big leagues by then, and having a little bit of success. So it wasn't really like starstruck or anything by that time, but definitely it's a different feeling when you're playing the Yankees. Even back then, I mean, I middle of the pack in the Central, I think. So we weren't in contention for anything really, but even playing against the Yankees, it's definitely something special.
Playing for the Yankees, that you're playing against, other than the Mets or the Dodgers or the Red Sox or the Padres or the Giants, you're playing against an organization that has to win each year. Their fans are not happy.
No doubt about it. Yeah, no, you could feel it's different when you're playing those teams and all that. I don't remember who I faced in my debut. I threw in 1 inning in one of the games and had a good inning. I might have even thrown an inning in the third. I can't remember, but I know I faced Swisher. I can't remember anybody else, but yeah, but it was fun.
And you probably faced my buddy A-Rod.
I did not. That was the thing. I was a left-handed specialist by that time in the big league. So, I didn't face many righties. If I was facing a righty, it was because I was, probably asked to go more than 1 inning, have to come back out and get another guy or, which didn't happen much. But if I was facing a righty, it usually meant that I didn't do my job and get my lefty out. So I did not face A-Rod. I might have faced him in spring training one time. Like I said, in Florida, the spring training guys out in Florida, especially, you play long enough, you get to know those guys pretty good. And I know I played against the Yankees a good amount in Tampa in spring training. So I might have faced him. I can't remember, but not in the big leagues.
Now, what do you have to think about the about the Minnesota Twins season, where they were doing well and all of a sudden the Guardians just took over, and look at the Guardians going to a Game 5?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really follow the Twins, that much. The big league club. I do know they're a scary team. We played against the Indians to get them out being in the Central, but again, that was like 10 years ago now. But yeah, they're dangerous. I mean, kind of like you touched on it earlier, like, the Yankees and Dodgers and a handful of teams are kind of expected to win every year. And I think Cleveland's a little bit ahead of schedule for, even what their time frame probably was. And nobody really expects them to beat us, which is tough playing a team, when really they're not expected to win. So that's tough. I have not seen this pitcher that's throwing tight for the Indians. I will be watching tonight. I saw a little bit of Italian's last outing, and he's had some success out of late. So hopefully he throws the ball well. Again, obviously, it's the same story with the Yankees. They just got to get those bats rolling. I wish I would known a little bit about this right-handed pitcher, but I've never got to see him throw, so I don't really know what to expect. You probably watch him? What's your breakdown on him?
So, James Tyone, the one that's
or on the Indian starter tonight, if you know much about him.
Yeah, James Tyone, he's all right, but we'll put it
Yeah.
this way: he's no CC Sabathia, he's no Andy
No.
Pennant, he's no Roger Clemens, he's no Roy Oswald, and he's no Garrett Cole.
No, no doubt. But hey, if he wins one, if he throws a good game tonight, he's and they're gonna love him in New York, that's for sure.
But what's a strange thing, and this is for both the Indians, not the Indians, excuse me, the Guardians. They changed their
Uh,
name.
yeah, no problem. They were the Indians when I played against them, so
Yeah.
it doesn't.
When
yes,
I
the
when I when
guard.
I when I liked baseball, I started when I was 4 years old in '96. They were how many years were they the Indians until now?
That was actually my team kind of growing up because my dad is a scout. He still works in baseball. He works for the Nationals. And he, when I was, in my, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, basically till like high school. Then he started working for the Rangers, but he worked with the Indians in the 90s. So I loved that was basically I grew up with, the mid 90s Indians with Jim Thome and Vizquel, Baerga, like all that. So they were the Indians back then, and I loved them. That was the team I cheered for, not just because my dad worked for them, but hey, they were pretty good during those 90s. They were a fun team to watch. And again, in the 90s, the team that they couldn't get past were your Yankees. So.
Well, what's funny is the Indians did go the Indians did go to the World Series 2 years,
What's
and
that?
they passed in '95, and in '97 they beat the Yankees and went to the World Series where the Yankees were supposed to win in '97, win back to back.
Yeah. It was 3 teams back then that gave the Indians trouble back then. It was the Yankees, the good Seattle Mariners team, and then obviously those good Atlanta Brave teams with Smoltz and Maddox, Smoltz and Maddox and Glavine. So.
Yeah, but they won that one World Series against the Indians in '95, the Braves, but they never got past the Yankees. In '96,
Yep.
they were supposed to get past the Yankees, but Joe Torre went in George Steinbrenner's office, and I still hear this on Yankeesography. He says, boss, I'll win 3 games down in Atlanta. We'll sweep them. We'll come back and win Game 6. I remember George saying, "What is he nuts?"
Hey, it worked out, didn't it?
Yeah. And Joe Torre was one of the best coaches in baseball.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I was a West Coast kid, kind of growing up and everything, but following baseball, I mean, that was, now following it, being a Indians fan and now working for the Yankees. It's heard about Joe Torre a lot back then. So
Tommy,
watched a lot of it.
Tommy Lasorda is even a good guy too. That's another Hall of Fame manager and he did so good managing.
Oh yeah, he was great. He's around. Even I met him when I was like a junior in high school. Some event. It wasn't like a showcase like they do now. I think it might have been like the area code tournament, one night scout right now or something. But I mean, he's a huge name in baseball. He goes to the amateur stuff, big league stuff. He does a lot for the game.
Joe Torre's under the commissioner. He's a big name, but Joe
Yeah,
Torre.
I thought he was working in the commissioner's office or something like that. Yeah, that's good. He's it. Yeah, you want good baseball people to stick around in baseball, so I'm glad he's there.
And also, the Red Sox guy that broke the curse on the Red Sox, and not Frank Kohner, Epstein. He's up in the front office now.
Yeah. Yep.
What's your thought about what the commissioner did with the ghost runner this year?
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it's I'm pretty traditionalist when it comes to baseball. I mean, I don't like a lot of the new stuff. Really, I'm interested to see how the shift thing happens next year. Banning the shift. I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, I've always thought hitters, if they really wanted to, just be able to beat the shift. But there's stat guys and stuff that say that's not really the approach they want guys taking. So hey, maybe if you can't shift now, it'll change the game. The one rule that I do know a little bit about that I'm happy that's being implemented is the 20-second pitch clock. Um, I do think it's going to speed up the game. I didn't know how I felt about it at first, to be honest. I worked really fast when I pitched. That's just what I did. I like to get the ball and go. I never understood why guys take so long to throw pitches in between times. I like rhythm and getting it and going. And obviously, it's been a problem with on the amateur side with youth baseball. It's hey, when you're playing 3-hour games and it's and these kids now are playing 100 games a year and they're not even 16 yet. Hey, I think it gets boring at times. Our sport can get boring because it just takes so long. But I think the 20-second pitch clock, like I said, at first I was mixed about it. And then my dad works for the Nationals, like I said. And so he does a lot of the pro stuff. And he fell in love with it this year at all the pro games he was at. He said that he noticed it visibly. I know they have stats that say it cut 25 minutes off, average or whatever. Just talking to him, he said, it doesn't even, necessarily mean how long the game is, right? That's why we love baseball. It doesn't necessarily have a clock, but he just said at the games he was at where there was a clock, it was just a better pace. It was, so I really like that rule. There's going to be veterans that complain about it. I understand that. I truly do believe that if guys give it a true chance and pitch with pace, rhythm, and tempo, guys that haven't done that before, I think they're going to like it. But it's going to be like anything else, especially with a veteran. Hey, some are going to be hard headed and push the line or whatever. But I know that if I were playing right now and they implemented, I would have no problem in it because I just would like to get it to go anyways, and I think it's going to help our game out. So that's the big adjustment that I think. Good job on that one. The shift thing, we'll figure it out. I don't really understand making the bases bigger, but hey, it's again, I give credit where it's due, and I do think the pitch clock one's good. Hey, the other ones, we'll see how they play out.
Now, did you see the game in Baltimore this year, where former Yankees pitcher, former Red Sox pitcher, he played for the Dodgers in the World Series. I forgot what other teams. Rich Hill. He's a native of Massachusetts. Did you see where he got mad and he went out there with the big bag and he threw it out there?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, again, I think he's probably taking a shot at the, rule change. Hey, there's some people that are, frustrated. I get it, but hey, I don't really think the bases are going to affect pitchers at all. So it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, are we just changing things to change things, or what? I don't really understand the reason behind it, but yeah, again, there were three major changes made, and one of them I'm all for. The other two, and we'll see how it plays out.
I know.
What's your thought? What's your thought on the shift and banning the shift?
I think the shift will work out in Anthony Rizzo's favor, and I forgot the other guy. Oh, maybe Pete Alonso. It's the two left. I forgot if it was the Mets and who it was, but they say it would work out because every time Rizzo comes up, he goes to hit, and they use the shift, and he doesn't get on that often.
Yeah, I saw, and before he got really hot with us, Matt Carpenter, I just saw a stat, when we got him, and he went off for us early, and because I remember him, Carpenter was playing, around when I was. I don't know if we ever played against each other, but I always liked him. I always thought he could hit. And I saw a stat on ESPN one day, and he just kind of fell off hard, before his resurgence with us. And I saw a stat that said he was one of the most affected by the shift. It's just a huge drop off when they started shifting to more. Yeah, so it's going to help some guys. I mean, again, it just goes back to, what your philosophy is. There's going to be some people that, hey, there were people that did it when the shift was allowed. They just did not change their approach. It doesn't matter. So we'll see if guys change their approach, now that we'll just see how it plays out. I don't even know how it'll work yet, but I'm sure you'll still, I know the rules, you have to, be two infielders on each side of the bag. I still think a lot of teams will play some type of modified shift where I saw it live with Joe Mauer because he was such a good hitter and used the middle of the field. I mean, they and this was before these drastic shifts that are going on now. But I mean, they used to put the shortstop behind second base when Maurer was up, and I mean, I just saw it live so many times where he would smoke a ball and it's an out because your shortstop's right there. You hit a hard line drive past the pitcher, you're like, yeah, and then, hey, shortstop doesn't even move. So I still think they'll play. They'll play within the rules of however far they could shift, but it won't shock me at all if they're third basemen are basically going to be playing your standard shortstop place, and shortstops are going to be playing right on that line, I would imagine.
One thing I don't like is the new base rules, the new big bases. I mean, it's because they want people to steal bases more. To me, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't. That's the decision that I don't really. That's why I don't really care about it. I don't really understand it, but I guess if you make them a little bit bigger, it will make some plays. There's a lot of bang bang plays in baseball. That's what's amazing about our game. And hey, if you think, I think the bags are 4 inches bigger. So if you think 8 inches either way is going to make a lot more, is going to entice more teams to run, then we'll see. I just know, hey, the game. There's a lot of stats in our game now, and hey, data and stats, they do not like stolen bases. I think that, if you look at stolen base percentages, guys that could run and everything, I mean, I think it's a gamble that I would like to see more major league teams take. I know as a former pitcher, I hated when guys were on base that would run. It's not fun. I don't really care if a guy gets on base that I know has got to go station to station, but if I got to think about somebody over there, it's not fun. So, hey, if it entices teams to maybe try to run a little bit more and teams have success with it, then, it's a copycat league like the NFL or whatever. It's like, hey, if teams like, hey, we got guys that can run, we're going to, try and see if our percentages can get a little better because we're a little closer or whatever, then we'll see it. But, it could work out really well because if guys end up wanting to steal more and you got the pitch clock or whatever you want to call it, there's going to be more action in the game. So, and more action's good. So.
One thing I think a lot of pitchers don't like is you can't throw over as much as you did. So the runners you can only throw over like 2 times, and then that's it for that runner.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I've always thought that one was interesting too. But hey, I think pitchers are going to learn, and I wish more guys would learn it now. I mean, especially on the amateur side as a scout now, it takes time to learn how to hold runners. And I was a left-handed pitcher. I didn't have a very good move, so I didn't pick over a lot. You just learn how to vary your times, vary your looks. You can control the running game without, picking over a lot. But hey, there are some guys that really like to pick, so they're going to have to pick and choose and kind of, you do a different strategy. If they got a guy who's going to run, they're going to have to hold and vary their times, and which I think that's good. I wish they would implement it, honestly, like at the amateur level, because they just see it when, even in good college baseball around here, like when runners get on base and, they're a threat to steal, the game just slows down to a screeching halt because they want to control the running game. The pace gets slower, calling in pitch. So, hey, we'll see. But it could force some more action. So I think we'll just need to see how it plays out. I think there's just a chance of the new bases having absolutely zero impact as there is that, hey, we might see some more stolen bases. I think it's probably 50-50 right now.
Now, are you doing any scouting, or is it almost over now for you guys?
Oh, I got a busy week this week because the fall is wrapping up. We start a little later than everybody on the West Coast for the fall, but especially with the colleges, they only have a certain amount of hours that they're allowed to practice with the team and everything. And a couple of my colleges are about finishing their fall, and a couple of my better colleges are just getting rolling. But I think they're all done in probably no later than like middle of November. So I don't have a game today, which is cool. I'm going to be able to watch our game. But besides that, I have a pretty busy week. I'll see Stanford, which is one of my better colleges, later in the week. And yeah, and then after that, the baseball stuff kind of shuts down. And that's when on the scouting side we go do our makeup meetings, learn, get to know these kids, talk to coaches, and kind of set up and get ready for after the new year. That spring comes pretty quick. I think some junior colleges in certain parts of the country start in. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, it's not my area, but I think some of their junior colleges start pretty close to the 1st of January. My schools get going more at the end of January, and then it's pretty much a race until the draft.
Now, do you do any scouting at Fresno State where Aaron Judge went to college?
I do. I was at Fresno State on Friday, and my brother played at Fresno State, and he was teammates with Aaron Judge down there. So yeah, I like going down to Fresno. My brother lives down there now. And they've ever since I've been scouting, they always have some talent, and yeah, that's a school that's always got some guys that are interesting, and yeah, so I do go down to Fresno quite a bit.
So your brother must be around Aaron Judge and my age.
Correct. Yeah, he's I'm 34, about to be 35. My brother's 32. So
I'm gonna be Aaron Judge is 30 years old. He was 30 this year. I'm turning 30 at the end of October, the 30th.
Oh, nice. Happy early birthday, Carl.
Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome, buddy.
I still Judge is from California, but what's your thoughts about if the Yankees don't bring Judge back? What do you think about the fan base? Because the fan base is already getting mad if they don't bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hey, again, I'm not on the pro side. I no say in that, obviously. I think hey, you'd probably know just as much as I would on that front, or more, especially how they would react in New York. I mean, I think it's easy to say now that, hey, we should have locked him up so he doesn't get to free agency, but hey, we didn't. And hey, we're the Yankees. I think how tonight turns out, and, going how the rest of the playoffs go in, there's a lot of stuff to determine. I obviously hope we bring him back. I think he's he's everything you want to build your organization around. He's the guy that those huge contracts in baseball. He's one of the handful of guys that you don't worry about giving them that kind of money and changing them. So hey, I think New York's got. Honestly, I think they're the front runner. Being out here in California, I hear a lot of the news. Like the Giants, there's stories all the time. The Giants. It's like, hey, I would still have to think the front runner for Judge. The Yankees got to have some. He's loved his time there. He's had some moments there. I would think they got to be the front runner still to re-sign him. The Yankees. Yeah, they've paid players before. I really hope they re-sign him. Again, I don't have a say in it. I'm a Judge fan, and I don't say that about a lot of baseball guys. I root for Judge. I would root for him whether he was on any team. So yeah, I hope we keep him. And what a year to watch. I thought it was almost undercovered with his home run race. Just didn't thought it got nearly as much love as it should. But yeah, I hope we keep him, man. Whoever's gonna pay him, they better get out of Brink's truck, man. It's gonna cost a lot of money, but it's well deserved.
I heard Oakland's in on him. I heard the Dodgers might be in on him. I heard the San Francisco's the front runners. The Mets are interested.
Yeah, I'm sure that. Hey, I would hope 30 teams are interested, but we'll see who the players are. I could say this. I don't care, but I would find Oakland for him being tough. I mean, hey, that's my closest major league park is Oakland, so I grew up around it and everything. That one would shock me. I could see the Giants, making a serious run. They like hometown guys. They got Logan Webb, who's actually from the town I'm from. They like hometown guys over there in San Francisco. I'm sure, hey, Judge would love to get back to California, I'm sure, but hey, he's got familiarity. He's comfortable in New York. They love him there, like you said. And New York, being a sports guy in New York, hey, they could love you, they could hate you, but I think ultimately, even when he's struggling, I think a lot of people root for Judge. I hope we retain him. He's a franchise player, man. You can't say that about a lot. Yeah, what's up?
Thanks for coming on. The upgrade pro thing has 9:28 remaining, so I better get going now so it doesn't shut off on us.
All right, Carl. Hey, thanks for having me on, buddy. We'll shoot me a message tonight during that game or whatever. Hopefully, we're going on to the next round, buddy.
Yep. And thank you, Tyler. Thank you for joining my sports talk show. And maybe we'll bring you back on some other time to talk some more amateur drafting and what your thoughts about baseball. Have a great rest of your morning because it's California out there, and enjoy the playoffs tonight. This has been
You
Carl
too,
Asian
Carl.
Jr. signing off, and you're
All
welcome.
right. See you, buddy.
Bye.